Sega's very first attempt at survival horror. Before we dive into the gameplay and overall presentation, it's worth mentioning that Deep Fear never saw a stateside release. In fact, this was the last Saturn title released in Europe, and my first import. Resident Evil, or Biohazard for those in Japan, was at the height of its popularity, so it only made sense that many would try and mimic the multi-million-dollar franchise's award-winning formula. However, this isn't a carbon copy. ISCO created something a bit more cinematic and made some tremendous improvements along the way. First, here's the story. A re-entry pod lands in the Pacific and is soon recovered by a U.S. sub. With their precious cargo safely in tow, they gas up at a naval fueling and research facility, the Big Table. Of course, something goes horribly wrong and the sub crashes into the Navy area. Who's going to save the day? None other than ERS John Mayer. No, not that one. This one, a former Navy SEAL and the only member of the Emergency Rescue Service qualified to handle this situation. John and his trusty companion Jar Jar, Mookie.
Get out, Mookie.
Yeah, that sounds much better. Investigate the sub and stumble upon a naval officer that suddenly transforms into a freaky-looking mutant and all sorts of wackiness ensues. It's like Mikami-san and James Cameron decided to hatch a plot for a survival horror title and Deep Fear was the result. Unlike Capcom's zombie romp, the narrative is a bit more sophisticated and the characters actually have some depth. If Deep Fear were a novel, I'd totally read it. If it were a movie, I'd watch it. Wait a sec, I have.
I've seen it. A human turning into a creature.
The transforming cell eats the original cells at a high speed and eventually takes over the body.
Is there anything that can stop it? It must have a weak point.
Something has to be done, but there isn't enough data.
Sorry. I have had this cold since last night.
Cold? Have you been attacked by a creature? Any other symptoms besides a cold?
I've been attacked a couple of times. Really, no other symptoms.
Can I draw some blood?
Am I being taken over, too?
Yeah, this game has a lot of cutscenes. While many serve the story, some are just there to show John moving a suit of mech-like proportions or riding an elevator up and down. I'm pretty sure the numerous cutscenes are the reason why this eerie adventure into the Big Blue required 2 discs. Kojima-san would be pleased. That aside, these sequences are awesome. They're visually exciting and held my interest, leading me to an emotionally charged ending that stuck with me long after I turned the game off. That's storytelling at its finest. The gameplay is Resident Evil. Solving puzzles, finding keys, reading documents, mowing down enemies, you know the drill. Not a bad thing, mind you, that's the genre. That's what I was wanting, that's what I got. Now, the one thing I like about Deep Fear is that all the puzzles work within their environment. I won't be hunting down 4 medallions, all of which are protected by puzzles and or bosses just to open a fucking door leading to the garden. Yes, the Spencer guy was quirky or whatever, but this is a little absurd. With Deep Fear, I gotta get through a door that's sealed shut. How do I do that? I need to find a blowtorch. Some nutty suit has it. He won't give it to me unless I collect some test data on a deep-sea diving suit his company developed, making up for the fact that I'm taking his only weapon against the mutated horde. Totally reasonable. One element that truly sets it apart from its forefather is the air system. You see those 2 bars in the upper left-hand corner? Health and air. The air unit has been compromised, so I have to hit these yellow boxes which will recirculate the air, save my game, and fill up my rebreather. There are some areas where these units are completely fucked, so I'll have to rely on this gadget whenever I run out of air. Enemies go down with little effort and moderate skills required for the bosses, except for these fish. What the fuck is up with these things anyway? They can block my path and hurt me. I mean, seriously, I'm in a metal diving suit for crying out loud. Are they mutant fish? I don't know. Still, in spite of it all, I'd say the gameplay is solid. I'm 50-50 on the graphics. The pre-rendered backgrounds are sharp and loaded with detail. The 3D characters and objects are well designed with colorful textures. However, these shadows are solid plates of black, and I seriously doubt this was a stylistic choice. Another issue I have with the graphics are the flickering textures when there's more than 2 characters on screen. When there's more than 3 characters on screen, it's presented to you in glorious slow motion. Some of the angles chosen aren't ideal for combat. Clearly there's some flaws. Still, they're not terribly distracting. Like the graphics, the sound's hit and miss for me. What's good? The atmosphere is fantastic. Leaky pipes, the distant drone of heavy machinery, metal shifting under the ocean's weight, it really puts you in the environment. The music is great, what little there is, which brings me to some negatives. The score is practically non-existent. Sure, there's plenty during those wonderful cinematics, but it's rarely heard during gameplay. Gunshots are weak, especially the machine gun. Oh no, I'm being pelted with frozen peas! Okay, now the voice acting.
Oh, there's no problem with my CFOX system. No accident should have occurred. Oh!
We can't get through on the wireless to either the Seafox or the Navy area. We have no idea what's going on over there.
This is terrible. My masterpiece is ruined. Oh, what am I gonna do?
Chief!
You don't have to yell, Mookie. I can hear you just fine.
It's an emergency. Sharon's drowning in the E-pool. Come quickly.
I'm right above you. I'll be right there.
Hurry, Chief.
Need I say more? Let's talk about the control. You know how you can't walk and shoot in Resident Evil? It's a problem that's plagued the series since the original. Well, check this out. Fuck yeah. I can back away from an enemy while I pump him full of copper. Hell, I can storm a room and cut these suckers down with ease. That, my fellow gamer, is awesome. Can you believe this game came out the same year as Resident Evil 2? ISCO succeeded where Capcom has continually failed. Incredible. Deep Fear may not be perfect, but I have yet to play a game that was flawless. If you have Saturn and enjoy survival horror, seek this one out. It's the shit.